On October 11, 2016, Karena McClerkin was last seen on South Washington Street here in Kokomo. In the 5 years since, her family and friends have never stopped looking for her, and they're praying they find her soon.
It's just embedded in my mind. It's just embedded.
Jerry McClerkin can never forget the day her granddaughter disappeared.
This is how she usually looked, right here.
Karena, just 18 at the time, disappeared after a party. Police say she was last seen walking down South Washington Street in Kokomo, a few blocks away from Foster Park, where I met with her grandmother.
I drove with the same pictures in my car for 5 years in my windshield. And I still have people to this day from Kokomo come up and ask me, what's wrong, where's she at? And I have to tell them we don't know.
Karena is a sister, an aunt, a daughter, and a granddaughter. Her family says they've looked for her tirelessly these last 5 years.
Over 500 miles in and around Kokomo, from Jonesboro to Burlington, Peru, to past Alto. We have covered every woods we drive by. We would stop and knock on doors and see if we could walk through them woods.
Kokomo Police tells WRTV Karena's case remains open and active. The department notes investigators, quote, have pursued numerous leads and tips.
We want her back.
But that's not enough for Karena's family and friends.
I don't even have any hope left. I'm tired.
They want both the police department and community to step up.
Why only remember her 2 days out of the year when everybody else is getting national coverage? Karena existed. She was not our imagination.
Jerry says she will never stop looking for her granddaughter, so her family will be at peace.
Not until the day I die. No, I won't.
If you have any information at all, please call the Kokomo Police tip line at 765-456-7017. All right, still with us, retired FBI Special Agent and producer on Indivisible Healing Hate, streaming on Paramount Plus, Bobby Chacon, and retired police commander and host of the Profile Evil podcast, Mike King. Also joining us now by phone in Kokomo, Indiana, is a special guest. Karena's grandmother, Jerry McClerkin, is with us as well. Jerry, thank you so much for taking out the time to be with us. We're here to help you. We're here to hopefully get you some closure in this situation. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, sir.
All right, let's start off by talking about Karena, what this is all about. I believe you had a special bond with her. I could see that in the story we just played. And I believe you had birthdays one day after the other, one day apart. Tell me about Karena and your bond.
Well, she was, sorry. She was a good kid. You know, she laughed a lot, she joked a lot, and she used to help me. I'd go pick her up, and she'd help me do things, you know, around the house and stuff. And she was just a joy to be around, and things just fell apart. She just took the wrong road and started running with the wrong crowd, and I just kept trying to talk to her, and she'd listen, and I'm sorry. We'd sit and cry together. She'd listen to me, you know, and then the last thing I have ever heard her tell me was, Mama, I'll be okay. But it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, it's just heartbreaking. And don't worry, we understand the emotion. It's not a problem at all. At this point, I know you've been searching. You have not given up hope. Do you have any theories, or does anyone have any theories about what might have happened to Karena?
Sir, all I can tell you is what the police have told my son, which is her father. They called him in December of 2016, January 2017, and told him to come in and give DNA with the mother. He did. She did. And then they told him to look in the trunk, to start looking for her remains, because they found blood in the trunk of a car. And then another officer told my son to quit looking in the woods for her. So, you know, my son said, heck, well, we're going to look where we want to look, and we're going to go, and we're going to do what we got to do to find my daughter. But they never did come back with whose car it was. They've never pressed any charges of the person that owns the car, nothing of the kind. I asked my son, when was the last time that he spoke with them. And he said, it's been over a year and a half ago, about a year and a half. And he called them, but he's never got any replies. They don't keep in touch with him to even say that they're still working the case. And it's just wrong.
Have they mentioned that they might have a suspect at all based on the car? Whatever. What about that?
Yes, they told my son the name of the man that did this, supposedly harmed Karena. They told my son his name. And why? And I asked the chief of police at the time, I said, why would you do that? Why would you tell a father the name of a man that murdered his daughter or harmed his daughter? Why would you do that? And everybody in Kokomo knows. Each one of the detectives I've spoke with has stated he did this, but they're not following up on it. My granddaughter went to get her hair done the other day at a beauty college, and she had to look up and look around, and there the man was styling somebody's hair. And she just happened to have Karena's shirt on. And she said he watched her the whole time she was in there. And it made her very uncomfortable. He's still walking the streets of Kokomo.
Unbelievable. I have a couple of investigators here on the show as well, Jerry. Maybe they can help us out with what might be going on here. Bobby Chacon, Mike King. Mike King, I'll start with you. You know, we hear this very often in this type of situation where police seem to have information or there's pretty strong rumors in the neighborhood, but nothing seems to be done. What sense can you make of that?
I think it's really important to recognize that law enforcement is the fact provider, and it boils down to whether a district attorney or a county attorney is ready to file charges and whether they have enough evidence to step forward. It's really frustrating for us in the public, and certainly for Jerry and her family, because they want justice, and this beautiful girl deserves justice. But if they don't have enough and they lose that bite at the apple, there's no going back. And so sometimes it's a patience game. Sometimes it's just taking a little bit longer. The thing I don't understand is when law enforcement agencies don't have somebody in place to just kind of keep touch with the family and say, there's no more news at this point, but at least that family knows that they haven't been given up on. And I'll tell you what, this woman that's on this show with us tonight is a rock star in my book, and she may not remember me, but I remember her from 2 years ago when a team of divers showed up to volunteer and help and look in a murky, muddy mud puddle. And I think of my colleague Bobby Chacon here, who has led the FBI's dive team. Bobby, in this particular case, that grandmother that we have on the phone with us convinced this group of divers to get in the murkiest, muckiest pond full of snapping turtles you've ever seen. And I don't believe for a minute, Michael, that Jerry is going to give up on this case and give up on demanding justice for her granddaughter. And that's exactly what needs to happen. And people need to feel that same outrage that family does. And if you know something, even if it's goofy to you, make sure law enforcement is aware of it, and let's help bring this girl home.
Bobby Chacon, I want to get you involved in this. You heard that she feels like there's no line of communication between the agencies supposedly searching or investigating her granddaughter's disappearance. What can you tell her to maybe help open up those lines, or what can she do to try to get more cooperation and keep this alive in the law enforcement realm?
Well, Ms. McClerkin, I think you're doing exactly what you need to do. And when I saw you in that piece say you will never give up, I think that's the key. I think you're going to find that you are the person who pushes this case forward. It's a mystery to me why the police have acted the way they are. And like Mike said, most police departments have a special unit or special people designated to work with families and keep them abreast of what's going on in the investigation and talk to them, certainly more than once every year and a half. You have to, even if there's nothing to be updated on, you make contact with the family. You say, we're still working on this thing, and it's a mystery why they haven't done that in this case. I think that it's incumbent upon, if your job, as it is to serve the public, that's part of that service, is to stay in touch with the families, let them know. And this again, it's a mystery to me how they know the name of this person, and they let the family know the name. That's to me not good practice. because now the family is going to see this person and as Ms. McClerkin described, get in very, very strange and uncomfortable situations. And so I think that it's a real bizarre and mysterious way they're handling it. But I also agree with Mike, if they know they may just be missing that one little piece that the DA wants to put them over the edge to make them feel comfortable that they have enough to charge the person. Because it's all about, you can know who did something, but you need enough evidence that you can put in front of a jury to get the conviction, and those aren't necessarily the same thing a lot of times. So I think that, I think it's probably at the DA's office. They have a certain amount, but they may not have enough that they feel comfortable to lodge charges, and then because there's a speedy trial rule, you have to go to trial right away, or you have to count on being able to go to trial right away. So it all depends on what kind of evidence and how much evidence that the police have turned over to the prosecutor.
Yeah, lots of factors play into that, Ms. McClerkin. And we only have a couple of seconds left. I want to give you the last word here. Any final words you want to leave our audience with?
I just need help. I need the FBI in here. I met with the mayor, Mayor Moore, the new mayor, and I told him, you have the power to pick up the phone and call in the FBI. And he has yet. He will not do it. They will not call in the FBI on this case. They say it's not necessary. The new law that they passed, my son called the state police or the sheriffs, whichever one it is, and they told him they would not look into it because it wasn't an accident. We don't know. We can't get anybody to look into this case. There's been 3 detectives retire and 1 got put back out on the street. And now she's with an ATF guy. I mean, who's handling it? And the prosecutor, all the police know this man. They all grew up with him. I think that's a conflict of interest. Up to the chief of police. They know this man personally. Why are they even on this case? Why can't they bring in the FBI? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
All right, Ms. McClerkin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to do everything we can to continue to help you to get this case out there and continue to tell your granddaughter's story until you and your family get the answers you need. Thanks again for joining us tonight. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, you have a great night. And thank you to our investigators, Bobby Chacon, Mike King. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on the show as well. It is time now for a quick break, but there is still a lot more to come, folks. Here's a look at what's still ahead on Closing Arguments.